Welcome back to The Lion King Platinum Edition Disc 2 Part 2. Let's go to the North America section. We have a tour in different parts of the US. In Burbank, we got a promotional reel about the Disney company's history with animals and how they appreciate them so much and show that in their movies, as they plug Animal Kingdom while not mentioning that one time in White Wilderness where they threw a bunch of lemmings off a cliff for clout and an Oscar. Still can't find any official apology from the company either, but they sure love making jokes about it still. In DVD sound design at the Burbank Studios, we have an interview with Terry Porter, the original sound editor for The Lion King. For the theatrical sound effects, they used the Dolby 5.1 digital sound system in 1994. For the IMAX release, Terry had to redesign the surround sound for the film. If you watch the movie in theaters, you'll be able to hear specific sounds like the growls from Mufasa, more bass added, or the echo of Simba's first "Rawr" XD. In the reflection section, the directors, Elton John, and other members of the cast reflect on the surprise success of The Lion King, since it was expected between both current projects for the studio. Pocahontas was expected to beat The Lion King at the box office. We've seen the international release reel already. On to Orlando, we go on to the Animal Kingdom Park with Joe Rohde for the Disney World Park plug. Next is a promo reel for the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and again with the repeat promo reels, Disney and animals. In New York, we go through different parts of the musical production, starting with musical origins. Thomas Shoemaker and others talk about how the success of the Beauty and the Beast musical compelled Michael Eisner to do The Lion King on Broadway, and everyone in the company was telling him, "No, Mikey." So he says to Shoemaker, quote, "You figure out a way to make Lion King musical, I will do it myself." And when Michael wants to do his own project, he's just gonna copy someone else's homework, and they really didn't want Cats 2 Electric Boogaloo. In comes Julie Taymor to direct, design the costumes, puppets, and even sculpt the masks inspired by traditional African masks. In Screen to Stage, Julie explains the process of adapting an animated movie to the stage and the careful consideration of how they wanted to tell the story. Rather than approaching it like a stage production, Julie wanted to focus on the human aspects of the story themes and the music composition, which is why there is an emphasis on seeing the humans within the animal puppetry. Musical texture is about how the artistic African representation in music is in the core of the Broadway production. Certain songs and elements that were introduced in the sequel CD to the movie soundtrack, Rhythm of the Pride Lands, were brought back to the stage play. New songs were added, like The Morning Report, a song Zazu and Simba sings about what's happening that day in the Pride Lands report to Mufasa. Chow Down, a song sung by the hyenas when chasing Simba in the elephant graveyard. And The Madness of King Scar to open the second act, which is such a banger. I am so sad that it wasn't kept in the film, and it gives more of a reason to why Nala wanted to get the fuck out. On to setting the stage, we go through different elements of the stage design, from the masks, costuming, lighting, ideas like actors playing both plants and animals, and how all of these elements are used to tell the story. In Glendale, we have a promo on the production design showing concept art and the animators explaining what kind of stylization that they wanted for the film. Disney execs wanted a National Geographic look. That they eventually did with the Lion King remake, but ew, we saw how that turned out. Turned very Uncanny Valley real quick. They had cartoon style, Sleeping Beauty geometric style concept art, but when having discussions about the director David Lean, they decided to go with background painted designs and landscapes of Africa for a sense of grand scale, Lawrence of Arabia type vibes, as art director Andy Gaskell put it. Next, in the storyboard process, we get an insight on the adaptation of the storyboard to film with directors Bob Minkoff and Roger Allers, and the different ideas that has been changed or given input during story sessions with the writing crew and animators. In the computer animation section, we get more in-depth looks at the animation software used to create the Wildebeest Stampede, with Scott F. Johnston explaining how animator Ruben Aquino did the running animation reference for the 3D models. They also had to come up with a system that prevents the models from clipping through each other as they run through the gorge. Times that running animation by 1,000 over 3D textured slide. Whee! Look at him go! And then this is a great reference for storyboard artists, a side-by-side comparison of the opening of The Lion King and the original storyboards. I used to watch this all the time, and I would make my own little storyboards of books I used to read. If we go down to more in Glendale, we get some unused scenes and early concepts, like a more scared Timon and Pumbaa meeting Simba for the first time. Producer Don Hand recalls some early concepts and explains that Timon and Pumbaa's VA, Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella, originally auditioned for the hyenas, but they were such a fun duo together that they decided that they worked best as Timon and Pumbaa we all know and love. Another early concept Don Hand talks about is Simba's presentation, which is a scene that was developed before the Circle of Life opening, with more dialogue between Sarabi and Mufasa about Scar missing the event and Rafiki coming to perform the ritual and meeting Sarabi for the first time. This was back when The Lion King was titled King of the Jungle, because I'm sure it took Disney execs a while to remember that lions live in the savannah. Next is an abandoned scene of Pumbaa and Timon singing Warthog Rhapsody, the precursor song to Hakuna Matata about how chill a warthog's life can be. As much as I am a fan of dancing bugs, I prefer Hakuna Matata and can appreciate this song for paving the way for an iconic score. Next, we get to see the presentation reel, which is sort of a sneak peek for Imagineers, toy designers, and other partners of the company to get a feel of what the movie would look like. We've gone through the character designs, so let's go to the art design galleries. The first section goes through the art designer's work for these sweeping landscapes of beautiful sunrises, waterfalls, and animals. We also get to see the development of how Pride Rock looks and the different landscape layouts. The Pride Lands concept art shows a whole map of what the land would have looked like and different concept art images inspired by the crew's Africa trip. In the jungle flora, we get to see different graphic design approaches artists came up for the plant life. Some concept art was more geometric shapes, some look like Sleeping Beauty, a photorealistic approach, and even pointillism. In Rafiki's tree, we get to go through the different designs to the baobab tree. My favorite part of the DVD is this part because of just how much stuff they have. As a kid who wanted to be an animator, I used to flip between these hand-painted backgrounds all of the time on my portable DVD player at night when I lost my DS charger. We have background layerings for different scenes, like Rafiki discovering Simba is alive, Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata, Nala's appearance, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight. My favorite is the Circle of Life landscape paintings for that iconic opening camera shot. And we have even more. We see the different effects and layering for the fire and fight scene. In the animation effects for the stampede, we have the animators developing the scene from concept to background and foreground. And in the effects animation for Circle of Life, we see how the animators and background artists created that beautiful backlit sun effect on Rafiki. I just love sun rays, okay? Now on to South America. We've already seen all of this. As much content as they give you in this DVD, they suck for how many dupes there are. They just did South America so dirty, giving us the same multi-language reel and international release, musical soundtrack, and theatrical release galleries as well. Truly the illusion of choice. And then finally, everyone's favorite part of this DVD, and probably the reason why half of you put this disc in the player in the first place, the virtual safari tour. And that's all on disc 2 of the Lion King Platinum Edition DVD. I hope you enjoyed seeing what's on my DVD collection. I recommend y'all to check out your local thrift stores or bookstores in the video and DVD sections, or purchasing your favorite movies and shows secondhand online rather than streaming them. You'll get more content out of it, you'll support a local business in your area rather than a mega corporation that's currently funding a genocide, and you now have that movie forever. You can find the Lion King 2-disc Platinum Edition on eBay for around $2 to $10 with shipping. Thank you for making it to the end, and free Palestine.